For the first part of the creative writing unit, we did grammar as the first lesson. And in this lesson, the standard was students will recognize pronouns and possessive nouns. It's 3.5.R.1. And in this standard, I want to introduce it by talking to the students, asking them if they know what possessive nouns are and pronouns are. I will also play a video for the students at the beginning of the class that will kind of introduce the subject and get them engaged and interested in learning. As I go on to teach it, I will explain, pirate's treasure is a possessive noun, and I will have them written on the board. And I want the students to pick out which of the forms are correct. So if I have pirate's treasure on the board and I have that shirt is mine's, that shirt is mine's is obviously the one that's wrong. So I want my students to be able to pick that out. For this lesson and activity, I actually decided that we're going to do a worksheet. It is just a simple worksheet over pronouns, and what they do is they just underline the pronoun itself, and then they underline the noun that it matches, that it's talking about. So, and then I have the answer sheet over here, and then we have an activity where the students will actually get to look at some index cards and pick some index cards. They will pick 5 cards. So they will have like Charlie's and pirates. They will take these cards and they will make sentences out of them. They will just write them in the notebook. So that'll be just one way of teaching them or seeing if they can put sentences together the correct way with using possessive nouns. And then we go on to the next. For the vocabulary lesson, we will be doing 10 words, and we will be using the standard 3.2.4 or .w.4. Students will use resources to find correct spelling of words, word wall, vocabulary notebook, print and electronic dictionaries. So my main goal in this would be to teach students how to use a dictionary correctly. So I am going to ask the students if they know how to use a dictionary or a glossary, and we're gonna kind of discuss that. For the hook of the lesson, I kind of wanted to do something a little different. I am going to ask the students to not look around the classroom. They're just gonna use the knowledge that they have, and I'm gonna give them some words. I'm gonna cried, milk, watch, steal, and I'm going to ask them without anything else, can they spell those words without any resources? Do they know how to spell those words? And what they're gonna do, hopefully, is realize that it's gonna be really hard to spell those words without having help or dictionaries or the word wall to help them with that. So that's gonna be kind of like my, let's introduce this, let's get them seeing how hard this is, and then let's show them how to use a dictionary. So I'm gonna get a dictionary and we're gonna go through it, and I'm gonna show them, I'm gonna open it up, we're gonna go to, I'm gonna tell them it's in alphabetical order, and I'm gonna show them how, like on each one of them, it shows you how to pronounce the words and sound it out. And then I'm gonna show them that there's the definition. With that, I also want my students to reference the word wall if they need to. We will have the words written on a word wall, but I also want them to give me definitions. So we are going to have these notebooks, and they are going to be our vocabulary journals. And each week we're going to just add to those. So 1 week we will have words written and their definitions. The next week, the next page, words written and their definitions. Just to make that a little more interesting, I might actually add like the words and their definitions, and then they use it in a sentence in the correct form. I think that that would be very beneficial to getting them to do that. So the vocabulary words that I have picked out, I just picked some out from what third graders vocab would be. And with these index cards, we will actually have them obviously up on the word wall. And then we're just gonna go over like dictionary stuff and how to look them up and different things with that. I will be playing a video over the dictionary and how the dictionary works, and just kind of to tie everything in together that we have went over for the day. And that way they can refocus their memory on, okay, well now we're learning about these words. We just have to remember that if we don't know the word and we don't know how to spell the word, we can look it up. So we can do our best and look it up. So our next lesson is our creative writing lesson. So 3.3.W.1, students will write narratives incorporating character, plot, setting, point of view, conflict. So in this, I kind of wanted to introduce this to the students and ask them if they have a favorite book, and if they can kind of give me a brief description of this book. And then I will have a bag, which I didn't really have a bag. I kind of have a folder, and the students they can look through these, or they can just choose and pull one out and say, that's the topic I'm going with. What would you do if you found a magic shoe? Is one of the topic examples. And then another one is, if you have a superpower, what could it be? Or what would you pick? If you could travel anywhere, where would you go? Just some different topics that they could be creative with. And I would also, that kind of gives them a little bit of freedom in what they want to do as far as their subject goes. And with that, I actually have a little creative writing board, and I am not an artist by any means, but each of the topics are kind of on here. Magic shoe, if you lived on a boat, if you traveled, where would you go? Superpowers, what would it be? Favorite color and why? And this is just kind of like a little board to get them interested in the different topics that they have the opportunity to write about. As they write, I am also going to explain to them and require them that they need to pick 5 out of their 10 words that they used from their vocabulary lesson. So they're gonna have to go back and pick 5 of those 10 words. In their writing, I'm also going to require them to use possessive nouns and pronouns. So I'm going to refresh their memory on it, explain to them what possessive nouns are and what possessive pronouns are, pirate's treasure, the dog's bone, and so on. And they're going to use those. In their writing, I want them to underline where they used each of these words, whether it was their vocab or their possessive nouns or their pronouns. And that wraps it up all together. Really, for this, I didn't go too much into creatively. I just kind of stayed more, I feel like, structural, just trying to get them to see the point, but they also have some leeway in playing with which topics they want to choose and different things in that regard. Thanks.